up, boys and girls? It's Alibi here, and we're gonna go over the new patch that will be hitting next week, patch 5.5. It's titled Time to Party, which is, you know, cool. It's still in celebration of Smite's birthday, so again, pretty damn cool. So the first thing we're gonna go over are the new god skins. So first we got Elegant Nemesis, and goddamn, this skin, at least the card art, looks really freaking good. This skin is going to be available in the bundle, just how the Neef and the Achilles skin were bundled together. This is going to be a similar bundle where you're going to get this skin and the itty bitty chibi AMC. So this is the other skin that's going to be in the bundle. It's a chibi AMC skin, which is really nice. You can see Bacchus in the background, barely Buzz Bacchus in the background, which is pretty damn cool. AMC looks cute. I'm sure the skin's gonna be great. And just to note, I have not seen any of these skins in game. I did not watch the live stream, so my impressions are just off the card art right now. Next, we have a new Zeus skin. So we have Sky Tech Zeus, which falls in line with Rain Tech Shock. I think that's the name of the skin, or Storm Tech Shock. Looks pretty cool. Looks a little bit generic, like at least with Shock it kind of looks like him. Doesn't really look like Zeus. Like they should have added like a mechanical beard on him or something. I don't know. Looks cool. Looks like Medusa's on his shield. Little touch there, and he has a little thunderbolt symbol on his chest. Pretty damn cool. That'll be available in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully none of these are in chests, because again, fuck chests. But this one's really fucking cool. Dark Matter Capri. It's falling in line with the Cosmos skin. So the Soul skin, the Agni skin, I think Hubwa has one. It just looks so cool. Capri looks like such a badass. Like, just the look at it, just so good. I'm a big fan of these skins. Next we have Orbital Strike Artemis, which is kind of like, isn't it the same thing as, like, isn't it Orbital Strike Ram as well, or Rama, whatever you want to call them? Looks pretty dope. I like the design of it. Her little visor is pretty damn cool, and Tusky is alien dino, which I can totally get behind. Looks pretty cool. We'll have to wait and see. Achilles is getting his mastery skin, so he's getting his gold, his rank 1 mastery, his rank 5 mastery, and most likely his diamond as well. AMC is getting new or a redone mastery skin, so that's the way he looks. That's freaking creepy, man. That card art's really scary. And then Nemesis is also getting her mastery skins redone. Congratulations. Now we go into Project Olympus, which is kind of like the overhaul of Smite that they're doing. It's like this multi-patch project. So they're fixing, or at least adjusting, matchmaking. They're gonna have a new matchmaking or a new matchmaker, and that's gonna be is gonna start to be tested starting patch 5.5, which is this patch. So hopefully that fixes some of the problems. If you want to learn more, you could click here. And yeah, that's a pretty long little thing there. I'm not gonna read it because I want to make this nice and short for you guys. Custom auto buy build. So you could custom your auto buy, so you could click auto buy, and I guess it'll auto buy kind of like in your custom way. So like, say you have a build on her, and you're like, okay, I go into dev first, and then I go into ninja, and then you go into executioner. I guess you can set auto buys and customize them basically. Custom and auto buy builds will now sell starter items, blah blah blah, and the only exception for this is arena build, so keep that in mind. Incorrect scoreboard issues. We have implemented a fix for scoreboard issues. For the scoreboard issue, where it would display incorrect teammates and connection statuses. Sure. Console VGS fixes. Fantastic. And then rewards for leveling up. So again, if you reach level 1, you get favor all the way down to 50, where you get a free purchasable skin coupon. Oh god, I had a little burp there, sorry. But yeah, and then and now it takes 25% less experience to reach level 30, and then between 31 and 50 takes more experience to reach. I don't know. I mean, does this stuff really matter, really? The answer is no. Updated tutorial quests. So if you do the training quests in the game, you're going to get 500 favor for quests 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you get the recolor for completing rank 4. If you do the play co-op versus AI, you're going to get 500 favor plus a raw recolor. Master a God, you get a lightning bolt ward skin. Refer a friend, you get 500 favor, and then play with a friend, 1,000 favor, and complete a match, 100 gems, which, you know, it's free stuff. So if you want to do that stuff, go right ahead. Console bug fixes. I'm not a console person, but if you are, avatar is not being displayed on friend lists, and you know, whatever. Yeah, miscellaneous. Mech level tech, sure. Birthday cake pedestal, poopy jump stamp, and baby drone ward skin. So I guess those are new items being implemented into the patch. And yeah, awesome chests are getting some new skins. So all these skins are now attainable from the awesome chest. The godlike chest will see Digimir 9000, Ymir, Scarlet, Coven, Isis, and Wormslayer Uller added to the godlike chest. And with your fantasy points, you can actually buy some stuff in the fantasy store. So the first additions to the store are going to be Primal Huntress Artemis. I think I have that one. King of the Deep Poseidon. Might not have that one. And Jandroid Yanis. So pretty cool. More stuff you could do with your FP, which is fantastic. Some balance changes. So this is actually pretty important. Fire Giant. If you have a Fire Giant buff, you're now, instead of doing a bonus 20% damage to structures, now you're doing 25. If you have the Enhanced Fire Giant, which I actually have no idea what an Enhanced Fire Giant buff is. Maybe it's like kind of how Gold Fury, early game, it doesn't do that much, but like mid to late game, it gives you a pretty big boost. So it scales with at what time in the match you are. But you're increasing your structure damage from 20% to 30%. So again, Fire Giant's becoming more important especially for taking objectives, whether it's towers, phoenixes, and Titan, you know, obviously. And Conquest Towers now do more damage, and that's kinds of combat they're too easy to bring down. So it doing more damage means people are less likely to tower dive you for a kill, and you know, they're less likely to tank some of that damage to take your thing down. It's just making it harder for tier 1 towers to go down. That's it. Malice is getting his passive redone. So the previous passive was like, every time you get a critical hit, you get a stack. Once it stacks up to 3 times, the next ability you use a certain amount of damage. The new passive, every time you hit a critical strike, your abilities deal 35% more damage for the next 3 seconds. So so basically you want to get that crit, and then it procs that additional damage that your abilities do for the next 3 seconds, which is pretty cool. Midgardian Mail is actually getting a pretty cool buff, or it's not even a buff, it's a change, but it has a new passive where now every time you get hit with a basic attack, the target or whoever you get basic attacked from gets a reduction of movement speed and attack speed by 15% for 2 seconds, and it can stack twice. So I guess at the total would be 30% reduction to attack speed and movement speed for 2 seconds. So that's pretty cool. I think Midgardian Mail might make a comeback, especially since hunters are big damage dealers now, and this effect is actually pretty good, especially for those hunters that go into the, you know, Executioner, Chins, Odysseus, like a straight up attack speed build. pretty good, pretty damn good. Witchblade is getting a buff, so it's getting 100 more health from 100 to 200. Crusher, adding a visual effect. Ichabod is getting a buff as well, so for every stack that you get off of Ichabod, instead of getting 7 physical power from your stacks, you're now getting 10. And I think it tops out at 3 stacks. I might be wrong about that, but basically for every stack you get, you're getting more physical power, which is a buff. Silver Branch Bow's also getting a buff. Every successful basic attack increases your attack speed by 5%, and stacks last for 3 seconds and can stack up to 6 times. So basically at full stacks, you're getting an extra 30% attack speed boost, which is fantastic. Obviously it only lasts for 3 seconds, but it's great. Yeah, and it's basically Ichabod is more for power, so if you want a power boost, you go Ichabod, and if you want more attack speed, you go Silver Branch Bow. Cool. Assie's also getting a buff. Praise the Lord. They took away some of its pen, and to balance that out, they're increasing the attack speed from 20% to 25%. Fantastic. Spike Gauntlets is now getting a 5 physical power boost. So it used to give you 0, now it's giving you 5, which makes it a little bit easier if you're trying to rush that dev glove, and you know, some or other hunters might go into something that actually gives them power, which gives them early game presence. So it's a little to help you rush dev gloves, and you know, it gives you that little bit of extra power. So it's going from 0 to 5. 8-point Shuriken is getting a buff because it's decreasing from 1700 to 1500, but the total cost for that third item is going to stay the same. So getting that, I think 8-point Shuriken is tier 2. Might be wrong about that. I don't think I'm wrong about that, but yeah. So it's getting a buff. It's going to be a lot easier to obtain. Now we go to God balances. Aphrodite getting a buff. This is a buff. Undying Love, which is her ult, which basically gives you, and if you're linked up to someone, Aegis. If you're knocked up in the air, normally you couldn't use his ability. Now, even if you're knocked up in the air, you can still use your ability to give you that immunity. So you have a better chance of, you know, getting knocked up and then using that ult to basically nullify any burst or any follow-up CC that, you know, might come your way. Kabrakan, adjusted targeter to better reflect the area of damage from this ability. Tectonic Shift, I believe that's his, I think that's his ult. Might be wrong about that, but I think it's his ult. And yeah, so the marker, the targeter is going to be a little bit more clear, so you see where you're doing your damage. Fantastic. That's a quality of life change, which honestly is a buff. chang'e, yeah, it's chang'e, right? Moonflower Dance, increase the persist time of damaging area from 0.6 seconds to 0.7 seconds, and this fixes a dead zone where chang'e could miss the ability while standing still. Cool. I guess that's a buff. That's fixing something. Sobek, charging prey. Sobek no longer goes untargetable while plucking an enemy. He instead gains player pass-through, which will allow him to be hit by enemies while he is getting ready to throw someone. So basically, when you're plucking someone, he can be damaged. Now, when he's plucking someone, you can hit him when he makes contact with that person. I think that's what it's saying. Alquang is getting a nerf. Basically, Alquang is played like an assassin to make him feel more like an assassin. They're nerfing his projectiles, which is his dragon call, but particularly his dragon throw. Decrease the magical power scaling from 90 to 78%. That's a very specific number, 78, not 75. You know, not 80, 78. So yeah, again, it's to make him feel more like an assassin. They want him to go in there and be a little bit more, I guess, manageable as an assassin. They want, if he attacks you from far away, does a bunch of damage, there's less chance that you're able to counterplay him. So Daji is doing too much damage. She's getting a nerf. Torture Blaze, which is, I believe, her passive, decreases the physical power scaling from 20% to 14%, which is 10%, 10% to 7% per tick. And then Horrible Burns, which is her one, decrease the physical power scaling on burst damage from 85% to 35%. So overall, Daji's doing less damage because this damage or burst assassin meta is really favoring her, so they need to tone her down a bit because she is doing so much damage. Kakolin, they're fixing his transformation. So basically, if you're level 2 and you transform, if you're able to transform, you get, when you transform into your beast mode or your berserk mode, right, you get that. Even if you don't have a point into your third ability, you get all 3 your abilities to use. So basically that's changing. So if you're level 2 and you transform and you haven't put in a point into that third ability, you won't be able to use it even when you berserk, basically. So making him a little bit easier, especially in the early game, to be less of a bully and all that stuff. Discordia is also getting a nerf. Erratic Behavior, which is her 3, which is her escape and the thing that makes her invisible, right? The cooldown's going up from 16 seconds to 18 seconds, which, you know, that's a really long cooldown. 18 seconds is really long. Isis is getting a buff, increasing her movement speed from 355 to 360. Dispel, which is, I believe, I know that's her silence, but I think it also gives a debuff. Reduced cooldown from 18 seconds to 16 seconds, and Circle of Protection now scales a little bit better, so it still tops off right here, right at 3.5, but instead of starting at 1.5, it's starting at 2.5, and then it is also increasing the damage reduction. So it used to be from 15% damage reduction at all ranks, and now it's scaling from 15% all the way up to 20%. So good job, Isis, getting some love. Wukong's also getting some love. Magic Cudgel, which is his long staff ability, doing more damage. So it's going from 80 to 240 to 90 to 250. So it's a 10 damage increase, which is, you know, it's gonna help him out. And they're also decreasing the mana cost on it, so it's going from 50 to 90 to 50 to 70. So at max rank you're using 20 less mana on it, which is fantastic. Vulcan, I believe this is a buff. Backfire increases the base damage from 80 to 240 to 90 to 250. So that's a 10 increase. And then increases the amount of damage that Inferno Cannons deal to marked targets from 10% to 15%. So that's a 5% increase there. Inferno Cannons also have a better magic scaling, going from 35 to 40. So that cannon that you're like, hey, it's fine if I take a few hits, it's gonna hurt a little bit more, which is which is good for Vulcan, I guess. And we have Erling Shen, which is getting a buff as well. His basic attack increased progression scaling to match swing time. So I have no idea what that means. It has something to do with his auto attack progression, but sure. But the biggest changes are spot weakness, which increased cooldown per basic. So every time you hit a basic while this ability is active, now you're losing 1 second instead of that 0.75 seconds. And then pin is also scaling more with your so it's going from power scaling from 45 to 55%, which is obviously fantastic. And this is just to help him be able to, he's struggling. Death Toll is gone, so Erling's kind of a lot harder to lane, especially early, when you have people like Akolin, people like Ravon, people like even Shock. Like, they have good clear and they have good sustain, so it's hard to combat that. So he has better clear now, and with spot weakness, if you use it right, you're going to be able to use your pin a lot more often, helping you clear as well. And I believe, yeah, that's it. So that is Smite patch 5.5, which is called Time to Party. Let me know your thoughts on the patch, whether you think someone wasn't nerfed, buffed, maybe you disagree with some of the god changes or item changes. leave that all down in the comment section down below. If you like the video though, hit that like button, subscribe for more Smite content on my channel. And like always, thank you so very much for watching, boys and girls, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.